Hi everyone, Emily with Emily's Crafting Crochet. I hope everyone is healthy and well and having a great day. So our thumb is going to be here, and we are going to put we're going to sew it together here, and then we're going to put a nice little cuff on it. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Hi, so what you're going to need today is some yarn, and I have 2 skeins of this just yarn. Such a pretty grayish, light grayish color, and I got it at the Dollar Tree. So 2 skeins should be enough for 1 set of gloves. I like it, it's really soft. I have 2 different size crochet hooks here. I have a 4mm. This does call for a 5.5, but I want my stitches to be nice and tight. So I'm going to start it off with a 4.0, and then I'm going to do the ribbing with the 3.5. I have a needle to sew, I have a pair of scissors, and I have a pair of earrings, which I use as markers. And I do wear these in my ears too. So they are for 2 causes. I guess they work for 2 different things. But I do like these hooks because they're so easy to open and close with one hand. So that's what you'll need for this project. So let's go ahead and get right started, right into it. So now I want to put my yarn on my hook. I really like this yarn from the Dollar Tree. It's really nice and soft. And 1 skein made this panel, and I still have some left, so I'm using it for this. So you could make a whole pair of gloves with 2 skeins and still have some left over. So now I have my yarn on my hook. I'm going to grab my yarn and bring it through. Five, 6, 7, 26, and 27. So this number 27 is kind of like going to be our chain one at the end. So every time we chain one at each end, we're going to put our stitch marker, because we know that is the last stitch we're going to go into. So we're not going to go into this last stitch right here that we just went through. We're going to go into this next one. We're going to go under 1 strand, and we are just going to do a single crochet in each stitch under 1 strand all the way across. You just have to be a little bit careful and take your time when you're using a smaller hook than what's called for, because sometimes you could just not get all the strands. So you just want to make sure that you do, because you don't want any weak spots in your gloves. I just wanted to tell everyone thank you for watching my videos. I have well over 1,000 subscribers, and I'm really happy. I know that you guys, everyone doesn't watch all my videos all the time, but I appreciate everyone that stops and takes time out of their day to watch. It just tickles me, and I'm really happy that you guys are interested in what I'm doing. So look at there. Just going to continue to go to the end, and you can see here that it's not taking long at all. You can make a pair of gloves in no time. Depending on how much time you have to crochet during the day, you could probably whip out a pair in a day if you really stuck to it. And you could also do different patterns if you wanted to. I mean, not patterns, I'm sorry. You could do different stitches if you wanted to also. I decided to do this single crochet just because I knew it'd be warm. Now I'm coming to the end, and I like to bury my yarn. That way I don't have to mess with it later. And I'm here at the very last stitch. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn. Now let's get our other marker, my other earring, And I'm going to put it right into that chain 1 space, because that's going to be the last stitch that I'm going to go into when I come back there. Okay, so you can see where I put that. So looking at this, I'm not going to go into this first hole right here. Okay, I'm going to go to this next one, and I'm going to go into the back loop only. And I'm going to do a single crochet. You can see as I'm going into these back loops, you're getting that ridge in the front. And I just like that pattern. Makes it nice and puffy. Makes the stitches close together, so I know that this will be nice and warm for whoever wants to wear these. I know, like my daughter has a child that has to be in the car seat, and so she would like this because it keeps her fingers to where she can feel stuff, and her thumb is open so that she can still maneuver around. She's just not one to wear gloves. So we're just going to go under the back loop only. So when you're looking at it, you can see that V. It's that back loop. And it's only one strand. I've been crocheting for a long time, so my stitches stay pretty consistent, the same size. And I like to control my yarn, so I'm sorry if my fingers get in the way a lot, because I'm constantly moving these fingers up. So I'm just going to go in that back loop and then grab my yarn and pull it through. And you can see that it pulls it up. So that's why I have a habit when I do this of putting my fingers here and holding it so it doesn't pull it up so high. We're here at the end, and you can see that took me no time at all, 27 stitches. So you can see where our stitch marker is. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to go into that stitch, and I'm going to do one single crochet, and I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to put my marker in that chain 1. So now we're not going to go into this first one right here when you start pulling it apart. We're going to go into this second one. We're going to go in the back loop only. This is your repeat row. You're just going to keep doing this back and forth until you can fit it around your hand. Because everyone's hands are a different size, so you're going to find that you can make this as long as you want, as short as you want, as wide as you want. You can make children's gloves, adult gloves, for skinny little people, hands and chunky finger hands, maybe wider than other people's hands. You can just make your own size. So you can see how that's coming out. This is what I'm working on for Christmas presents for stocking stuffers right now. And I just wanted to share it with you. And you can see it's not taking long at all. I'm going to go all the way to the end to that stitch marker. I'm going to go into this stitch. Then we're going to take our little stitch marker out, see where it's at here. And we're going to go right into that stitch, and you can see I'm going under two strands. I'm going to do my single crochet, and I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to stick my marker right back in that chain 1 spot, and we know that's going to be our last stitch. So our edges are going to come out nice and straight. Just use that stitch marker and you will do fine. Now here is the one that I've already made. And you'll just want to put your hand on here. I want the fingers to be about here, right here, and I have it right here where my thumb, and I'm going to close my fingers. I'm going to bring this over, and I'm just going to pinch it together. And just remember, this might feel a little bit of tight, because it does feel a little bit of tight, but I'll tell you what, once you sew it together, it's not going to be as tight. And then here, I'll sew it together here, and that will be my mitten, and my thumb is going to stick out. So I did make another pair first. Ta-da! I made green ones. And they came out really nice. I did put this border, and we're going to do that too. But I just wanted you to see what I'm talking about. So this is... So you can see here where my hole is. So I did sew this part together with my needle and thread yarn, my needle and yarn, and then I did this with that smaller needle. And these are front and back posts. So when I slip my hand into it, my thumb comes out. Ta-da! You could bring this up a little farther if you wanted, but I didn't want to because I didn't want it to pull. And look at my little fingers stick out, and I really like it. And I think this will be really nice for someone who likes to have their fingers sticking out. The thumb is out so that you can use it. If you wanted to, you could go around here. If you wanted to bring it up to here and cover it. But I really like it this way. To each their own. And then I just put a little border on here to hold it in place. Not that this didn't. But you can see here with the fingers, you know, how nice and loose it is. I didn't want that down here, so I put this on. I only did 5 rows of front and back crochets, and we'll do that too. But I just wanted you to see now the finished project so you know what you're working for. These are so cute, and green is my favorite color. I'm very partial to green, any color green. So, I know that I did 5 here. And let's see, 12 here, and then the rest I left open. So this is a great project where you can make your own size up and just see how thick it is. It's very thick. So there's my finished one. So now I'm going to take this one, and I will finish going back and forth to finish it. But let's go ahead and move to this one. So I did, when I ended it and I cut it off, I did leave it nice and long so that I could sew it together. Put my thread on my needle here. And then just look at it, because both sides are the same, but I got to tell you, when I look at mine, sometimes I can tell the difference. Maybe one side's a little shinier than the other. If you're using variegated yarn, maybe you can see a little bit of a difference. But I want this to be my inside. So you're going to put your 2 right sides together, because this is going to be the inside of your project. I don't know what I want to call it, a glove? A fingerless glove? So I'm going to go right here underneath this knot, and I'm going to go to the top over here. And I'm going to go into the same spot again, because I want it to, you know, stay in place really nicely. There we go. So that's number 1. So you can see your little ridges and how you want it to, you know, put it together. And I'm going to do 12. So that was 1. This is 2. 3. And you might have more stitches on yours because yours is longer. So however many you need to go down to the top of your thumb. See how fast this is working up? You could do 2 in some of them if you want to, because I do that too. Every once in a while I'm just like, oh, I want to put 2 in there. Okay, so I'm going to stick my hand in here. This is a little bit smaller than my green one. You know what? My green one is with Red Heart yarn, and this is just yarn. That's why it's smaller, but that's okay. I'll just change up the stitches a little bit more. So here, I'm going to go up a little bit more. So that's what you're going to do too. You're going to try yours on and see where it is. This is going to have to be for a little bit smaller hand than mine. I have plenty of people in my family, so I'm just going to do a few more on here. I know my grandkids have been wanting some fingerless gloves like I made my granddaughter. So I thought, you know, I'm stuffing these stockings. Okay, so this is going to be my last stitch. So I'm going to do like 3 in here. I could make some of these while I'm here. I think I'm gnomed out. If you haven't seen my other videos on the gnomes, please do. So I'm just going to take my yarn through here, tie a knot. I'm going to take my yarn through it again, tie a knot. And now we're just going to bury our yarn. I'm going to do it real easy. So you can go right up here where you just sewed. You can go along the side. And then you just come back. I'm going to go back 2, and I'm going to go through and go up. I'm going to come back, go up, pull it through, and I'm going to cut it off. This is really soft, very, very soft. So now I'm going to leave an opening for the thumb. However big you feel like you want to leave for your thumb. Put these together. And I think I am going to sew from here down. So I'm just going to start right here. Just to match yours together as well as you can. I'm going to tie a knot here to hold it together. And as I go, I'm going to bury this string. So you saw me tie a knot, double knot. I'm going to go right in there again, same stitch. I'm going to go under there, and I'm going to go to the next one. And I'm going to lay this yarn right over the top. And I'm just going to go right over it. So you can see I move it out of the way. Put it down and pull it tight. So I'm just moving it to the side. Make sure that you keep this nice and straight. And see how fast this is moving along. Once you start doing it, you will just whiz right through it. Sorry if my video is too long. If my videos are too long, please leave a comment down there letting me know if they're too long. But I also want this to be for maybe for beginners also that just needed that visual, because sometimes I need the visual also. Plus, I haven't done a video in a while, and I just want you all to know that I appreciate you. So I wanted to do a tutorial of something really fun that you could do yourself. And make it your own. You could put decals on this. You could do so much, but just to let you know that I'm thinking about you during the Christmas holidays. And I am busy making Christmas gifts. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to go under here. tie the knot, put it through here again, and I'm going to tie a nice knot. Nice tight knot. Now we're going to bury our yarn again. And it's always nice to take your yarn through and then to go back one or two and then go back through and up. And you could do it as many times as you want. I don't know why, but on these I'm doing it 3 times. There. I think that's nice and secure. And I'm going to cut it. And we're on our way to being done. So this is the inside. Let's turn it inside out now. This yarn is so soft. You know, that dollar yarn, I made a baby blanket out of, just about a whole bunch of different colors. It was the softest blanket ever. So look at that. That sewed together really nicely. And here is the glove, and here's where the thumb is going to go and the fingers are going to come out of. Doo-doo-doo. So now I'm just going to put a little bit on the end here. So what I did is I started out with my large hook that I used for the whole pattern. You could also use a different color if you wanted to. I am going to use the same color. Surprise, surprise, because everything I have is so gaudy. I don't know what it is with me and gaudy. I think it was because when my kids were growing up, I didn't buy that much yarn, so I always had different colors. So I just learned to love the gaudy. Embrace it. So I'm going to start. I don't like to start right here, so I'm just going to go over here a little bit. I'm going to put my yarn under two loops. Put my yarn on my hook, and I'm going to bring it through. And I'm going to chain 3 or 2. I'm sorry. No, 3. Pulled it through 1. So there's 1, 2, 3. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bury this as I go, and I'm going to do a double crochet going underneath 2 strands all the way around. So we're going to set up our pattern for our front and back stitch, and I'm going to go right into here. I'm going to go right into here because you can see that we don't want a gap in between our double crochets. So just go into to where you tied it together, to any opening right there, okay? Double crochet as yarn over, go in and bring it through, grab it, bring it through 2, and then bring it through the other 2. Now the front and back stitch that we're going to do next, I think a lot of people find it harder than it needs to be. I think the first time we go around is going to be the hardest, and then after that it will get easier. And we're only going to do 5 rounds of this. So this is our first round, and we're using the larger hook. If you wanted to use the smaller hook for your first round, you certainly could, but the only reason I used the big ones because I didn't want this to pull together too much with the smaller hook right away. But if you wanted to use the smaller hook right away because you'd like that look of the pull right here, pulling it together, you certainly could. You can see I'm just going to go under both loops. And this is not taking very long at all. Almost to the end here. I'm going to show you how to join it. Okay, so here's our chain 3, which is going to be considered a double crochet. We're not going to go into that stitch right there where that double crochet is, but we are going to go 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go into that top one. We want to go into it, and we're going to go under 2 strands. So 1, 2, 3, go under 2 strands, grab your yarn, we're going to pull it through, and then we're going to pull it through the loop that was on our hook, on our needle, and that's called the slip stitch, where you just pull it all the way through. So now we are going to chain 3, and this this one right here below the chain 3, we're going to yarn over and we're going to do a front post. So I want you to see how I did that. I yarned over and I went right below that chain 3, and I went right behind that whole entire stitch. I'm going to grab my yarn and I'm going to bring it behind it and bring it up. You don't have to bring it up too far. So you can move your work a little bit sideways if you want to. You're going to pull it through 2 and then pull it through 2. That is a front post. Now we're going to do a back post. We're going to yarn over. And this is how I do it. I find it easy. Now remember, this is the hardest row. Your next couple of rows will be easier because you'll be able to define it better. I just bring it behind and take it right on the other side of that stitch. So you can see the whole stitch is in the back now. I put my fingers here and pull this apart a little bit. Grab your yarn and you're going to pull it through. And don't pull it through too much. And while you're still looking at it like this and you got your thumb and your forefinger here and you got control of it, grab your yarn, pull it through 2, grab your yarn, pull it through 2. And there you did it back. The back can be a little bit tricky. So let's do a front, because you're doing front, back, front, back. So we're going to do a front. We're going to go right underneath that whole double crochet and pull our yarn through. Pull through 2, pull through 2. So you're basically doing a double crochet around these double crochets, if that made sense. So now we're going to go behind this one again. Remember, you can always look in the back, pull it in the first opening, take it through to the other side. Now look in the back. And I'm going to take my fingers, I'm going to grab a hold of right here. I'm going to grab my yarn and bring it through. I'm not going to pull that up too high. And I'm just going to finish doing a double crochet. I find that's the easiest way for me to do it. And I hope this light is giving a good enough light for you. So let's do a few more. I'm just going to do them slowly so you can watch me do them. Now the first row of doing these front and back posts are always the hardest. Oops. There we go. And you can grab a hold of it here, pull it through, not too much, and then just finish your double crochet. Now I'm going to do it a little bit faster. You can see how I do it when I do it fast. Oh yeah, now I'm going to start messing up now that I said that. And I don't pull my yarn up really high when I do those back ones, or the front ones for that matter. But just pull it through. And see, now you can start seeing the front and the back posts. You can see that it's going to start making a pattern right away. And you can count them. So here's 1, here's 2. You're going to do a total of 5 of these. So I'm going to show you how to join when we get to the other end, and then you can just finish the other 3 yourself. And you're done, unless you want to add some really cute buttons or a decal, or maybe put a pom-pom on it somewhere for a little girl. I don't know. There's just so much. And I made a hat. I think I did a show and tell on a really super bright yellow hat I made. And I put a decal of a dinosaur in the front. My grandson absolutely loves it. I'm so happy. It's nothing better than making something and then seeing someone enjoy it. Okay. So I'm lucky and this matched up for me. If it didn't match up for me, I would just have two next to each other. That was either two back or two fronts. Okay. So now here at the top, you can see here, right at the top, I'm just going to do a slip stitch. Now I'm going to chain 1. The last time we chained 3. And do you want to know why I chained 3? It's because if mine didn't match up, I could pull that out from behind here and I could use it. But I didn't need it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm only going to chain 1 and I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to go through the whole thing, that chain 3 and this front post. And I'm going to do my front post. So if mine wouldn't have added up, I would have just yanked that out and I would have used it. But since I don't need it, I'm just going to bury it. So now this row and the next 2 rows, because you want a total of 5, or you can do 2. You can do as many as you don't even have to do this if you don't want to. You can not even do this. But you will always go into this top one like I did, chain 1, and then go into your next one. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it wasn't too long. I'm sorry if it was, but I was really excited and feeling good today and thought, you know, I've been wanting to do a tutorial and I'm thankful for all of you and I hope you're all going to have a very nice Thanksgiving. I had mine with my children already. So I might put a tutorial out on Thanksgiving while I'm sitting here enjoying some leftovers. But you guys all have a great day. If you have any questions, please ask. I tried really hard today to be very explanatory because I know sometimes I'm not, and I did get some comments on that, so I apologize. But this is a great project and it works up really fast. So, these are really cute, aren't they? Oh, they're so cute. You guys have a great day. Stay safe. I will be back soon. And have a great holiday. Thank you. Bye.